Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjali Pranjalina Natosmi. Hari Om. We are in the third or the Vibhuti Pada of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Generally, the study of Patanjali Yoga Sutra gives a feeling of dealing with abstract, esoteric, some occult kind of doctrine, essentially because our mind and more so our intellect is not prepared to undertake a journey deep within us and the Vishwa that is surrounding us. Generally, we are convinced that in this world, I exist, my friends exist, there are trees and stones and different objects outside, I earn money in this world, I have children, I'm married to somebody. All these incidences, actions, we keep doing 100% presuming that these are the real and the right activities in life. I have my likes, I have my dislikes. I'm 100% convinced that I am a separate entity in this world. And so hardened are the facts in our mind that we work in the world day and night with this presumption that everything in this world is separate. I am one of them and I am interacting with others and I have a role to play vis-a-vis others. Think about this. Is it not true that there is a continuous interaction between me and others? And we are well convinced about it. If this is the case, then during the course of these interactions, I am happy, I am not happy, I like, I dislike, I gain something, I lose something, I want something, I don't want something. This is our day-to-day life. Never ever it comes to the mind to think that whether this is the life or there is another life. And the reason for this is not very far to seek. The reason for this is I, others. When I say others, I presume I, and the presumption of I, which normally referred to as ahankara, or in a yoga language, asmita, the very first beginning of separation between me and my world is the beginning of irrelevant interpretation of the universe that we are in. When it started, how it started, that is besides the point. The fact is, every scripture is telling me that everything, all is one. And what is my experience? All is different. See, we are studying Bhagavad Gita, all right. Every Friday, we take the shloka, we think about it. We also say what Gurudeva is talking about it. What is Shankaracharya saying about it? All right. All right. There's no harm. There's definitely a good thing to study. But ask a question to yourself, seriously. They say everything is one. What is my experience? My experience is contrary to what they say. Everything is different. The question now is either they are right or I am right. And when I have this doubt whether the saintly person is right, scriptures are right, or I am right, in this debate, when I say they are right, it is called Shraddha. When I say I am right, it is called Tamas or Andhakara. Shraddhavanam labhate jnanam, because then I have to believe in what they say, although I have no experience whatsoever of what Gurudeva talks. Theoretically, I say, he saw one in everything. Sarvatram ekatvam anupashyate, by heart, no problem. Not bad. But have we experienced it? Honestly ask. All right, big things. Tato na vijugupsate, dvandvatitaha, no pleasure, no sorrow, sthita prajna lakshanam. We all by hearted it. Brahmarpanam, Brahmavi, Brahma Yajna, by hearted. But there is no experience, there is no anubhuti. Everybody comes together and says, mango is good, mango is very tasty, and nobody has tasted the mango. How would that be the slogan? It would be a slogan mongering. Yes, it is better than saying dirt is good, but that's relatively a better thing. Fact is, anything that lacks experience, anubhuti of that particular thing is just a mental gymnastics. So everything is one is what the scriptures and the saintly people realized, the Jivan Muktas told us. But for us, let us face it very frankly, the experience is everything is different. I am different than Pradeep ji. I am different than Himanshu ji. Confirmed in my mind. How can I be and Meenakshi ji be one? She stays there, they have different family, I have a different family. It is ingrained in our mind. So much ingrained that even while reading the scriptures also, we are able to read it keeping that concept in mind. See the plight of the situation. A thief is calling himself a saint, but while saying that I am a saint, inside he knows he is a thief. So there is some amount of a chasm, friction inside at least. But if he's convinced that he's a saint and yet he's doing all the activities of a thief, then that friction also disappears. This is what has happened to us. Vivekananda comes and tells us, you are the son of God. We also say, yes, I am son of a God. But I'm convinced that I am not son of a God. I was born to my father. How can I be a son of a God? See, theoretically, we all agree to what the elders, Dhiraha, Jivan Muktas are saying, but we have personally no experience of it. Rather, our experience is opposite of it. So strong is the feeling that I am separate than others. How can the table and me be one? Not possible. Very clearly, I can say it is made up of glass. I am made up of something else. I move. I sit here and I go there. The table doesn't move. How can it be one? But the Jivan Muktas are telling, no, sir, table and you are one. A person who calls himself very scientific will say that it is absurdity. You know, these guys say that table and you are one. I mean, they don't know even the physics and the chemistry and the properties of a substance. And the worst part of it is property means dharma. So the science tells us that the dharma of that is different. Oxygen is different than the hydrogen. That is what chemistry tells us. Physics tells us that inclined substance is different than the straight standing substance. So the science is telling us how they are different because of their properties. And the yoga is telling us that they are same because of their properties. What an irony of the things. Because of different properties exhibited by different constituents of the universe or the cosmos, they are all different, is what we are convinced about. The yoga is trying to tell me that that is what, sir, I am telling you. Patanjali Maharaj says all the properties of everybody is same. What to do with these diametrically opposite views? And the scientist demonstrated me that, look, this is oxygen and this is hydrogen. So he has showed me, I have to believe in him. But then Patanjali Maharaj says oxygen and hydrogen is same. What do we do about this now? To understand this, Patanjali Maharaj says, I am not disputing your difference between oxygen and hydrogen. At the level of element, oxygen and hydrogen are separate. Agreed? Patanjali Maharaj says, come down, come deep, come further down. You went from the air to the laboratory and then did some experiment and separated oxygen from hydrogen. Agreed. You went deep, but not deeper enough. If you go beyond that, you will realize what I am saying. Then the scientist would say that, yes, I am prepared to go further deeper in my laboratory. But Patanjali Maharaj says, sir, physically what you are doing in the laboratory has a limitation. Further diving deep is not through instruments of externality. Then you have to set up the laboratory inside the mind and operate through the mind. That means everybody has been given the laboratory. You don't have to create a special chemistry lab and then all the interested people go there to separate oxygen and hydrogen. Yes, that is what we have seen. This is a special laboratory available to every one of us, where you undertake an experiment to delve deeper into composition, constitution of a substance. Then comes the question, which substance? For the study of salts and separation of sodium and chloride, you need a substance called salt, and then you do the experiment, separate sodium and separate chloride. So you start with the salt and then end in separation of sodium and chloride. What do you take as a substance when you start in the laboratory of the mind? The substance is called vritti, because there is only one thing in mind. There is nothing in mind except vritti. But sir, if vritti is not there, mind is not there. Vritti is mind. What is vritti? All this, what you are doing? You're talking, somebody is listening, thinking, thoughts, memory, picturization, ideation, liking, disliking, all vritti. The bundling of vritti at any given point of time is mind. We all know the honey beehive. Beehive is the mind. Some honeybees are going out. Some new honeybees are coming in and leaving a drop of, very small drop of honey inside. That honey is samskara. The honeybee went out, brought something from the flowers and deposited there as a small point called honey. Similarly, our vrittis go out towards an object, pick up something from the object, and then bring it back into the beehive of mind and deposit it there. That deposition, honey, is called samskara. So, the difference between a scientist, what he's doing is, scientist is always getting into dissection of perceptible things to separate them in a perceptible manner. And the perception that he tries to do is always through indriyas. He is definitely has taken strides by getting into the separation of nucleus of an atom and creating an atom bomb or hydrogen bomb or whatnot out of it and releasing the energy. Look, I found out that when you take two atoms and try to fuse them, when you try to separate them, there is energy called fission. When you try to make them one, further more energy is released. It's called nuclear fusion energy. Look, we found out that. Yes. It is definitely a discovery, because there is nothing that can be invented in this world. Only discoveries can be made. We call it invention, different story. The atoms were already existing. The power was already existing, and releasing of power was also existing. It was not known. So you rediscover. Prakriti, Maya has covered it. You discover it. So when they discover, new things come to the, but what are they discovering? They are discovering that which is only perceptible by the indriyas. And the Patanjali Maharaj tells us that what is perceptible by Indriyas is a very small thing, sir. Very, very small thing. Oh, you mean to say the entire cosmos, universe, which I perceive through my Indriyas is a small thing? Yes. What is perceived by Indriyas, the mind, when it operates through Indriyas, it perceives something which appears so huge for us, is a very small thing for a yogi. That means when the perception takes place without the intervention of the Indriya, there is a different world that is perceived, which is far larger, bigger, huge dimension than what we have seen. How that can be? What is the guarantee that it is existing? Patanjali Maharaj says, look, mind is an apparatus given to you to perceive that hugeness. But what you have done is, you have taken that mind, applied through the Indriyas on a limited area. That is the reason, sir, when you are sitting in Dubai, you do not know what is happening in every corner of Dubai also. Forget about knowing into some other city. Because your knowing is limited to what your Indriyas can give you as an input for perceiving. That which 5 Indriyas cannot perceive, you cannot know. Sir, I am blind. Sorry, you cannot see. 1 Indriya is gone. But can I see without the eyes? Yes. How can I do that? For that, Patanjali Maharaj says, first stop the misuse or the abuse that you have done through your Indriyas. The first condition is to correct what has gone wrong. What has gone wrong, sir? The wrong that I have been doing is I'm constantly flowing myself through the Indriyas towards the object. So first thing is I have to bring back myself from the application of Indriyas on the objects. Is there any name for this? Yes, there is a name. They call it Shamadama or Yamaniyama. Do you remember the Ashtanga Yoga Patanjali Maharaj said? That is that. So by Yama Niyama is basically a preparatory stage to disentangle from the wrong practice that I have been perpetrating for a long period. Unless that is done, this new world of Patanjali Maharaj will not be visible to us. How do I disentangle myself? The impure or the imperfect way of getting involved into the world has to be changed. This is called a purification. This purificatory process continues till you are completely purified. When you are completely purified, then your limited knowledge of the world disappears and knowledge without limitation appears. That is how the purificatory process goes. That is the reason, sir, it is called in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. This is purificatory process, Chitta Shuddhi in Advaita Vedanta, while it is called as Panch Angas of Ashtanga Yoga, Yama Niyama, Asana, pranayama, pratyahar. These are 5 activities to withdraw the habit of every time engaging through indriyas and bringing back that particular attention from the indriyas back to me. So all the money that was lent to different people called objects through the indriyas, all has been collected. So the money has come back to me. Now I'm again, lot of dhana sanchaya has happened me. When yamaniyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara is practiced, you get lot of energy, because this energy is no more given on rent to on mortgage to the objects outside. So it is now all collected inside. Patanjali Maharaj says, once you do this first process, which I call it Bahiranga Sadhana, Shamadamadi, Shataka, different names are there. Now comes the question, you have become victorious in collecting the vested money back into your treasury. Now you are having lot of dhanam with you. We give it different name. We call it Viryam, Sahaviryam Karavavahe. Through all these prayers and mantras and tantras and scriptural studies and the parokshajnanam and these tapas, swadhyaya, etc. All this is to collect back the consciousness scattered through the indriyas back into a place called the inner laboratory of every individual, the mind. Now what is happening? The mind has vrittis, but they are not going outside through the indriyas. Question comes to the mind, if the mind is not going outside, the job is done. It is not done, sir. It is the first step, yes, agreed. Primary schooling is complete, secondary schooling is complete, but yet the college and the university is yet to be completed. No, I got the knowledge of 10th standard. What more? No, sir. 10th standard is a fundamental. Now you have to build forward. So when the mind gets back all its dissipated energies back into its own fold, then starts the final ascent done through the last antaranga sadhana in comparison with this bahiranga sadhana. The 5 angas are bahiranga external, the 3 angas dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The money has been collected from outside. What do? Now you put it into only one instrument of investment. And one instrument of investment is called as dhyaya, the object of concentration. So far, you vested your money into too many financial instruments, too many objects for satisfaction. You invested in the land, in the building, in the shares, into this. All that money has been taken back. Now do one thing, choose one. Okay, sir, I like very much the share investment. Okay, fine. All now money will be going only into that. We will tell you how to invest. When only one object is taken in front of us, for all the energies of mind to be put into that. So what is that Patanjali Maharaj is trying to tell us? Take all the scattered vrittis at one place and again create a vritti, but only at one place, only on one object. I liked A, I liked B, I liked C, I liked D, up to Z, I liked everything. Patanjali Maharaj says, first step is take everything back from A to Z and now apply on only one alphabet. Yes, sir, J is my favorite alphabet. Apply there. That alphabet is then called Ishta Devata. How do you like your alphabet to be? A beautifully decorated, nicely drawn alphabet. It is called Ishta Murti. Another person says, I am okay with a bare letter J. I am fine with that. It is called a simple objective. Somebody would say that, sir, alphabet word itself will give me something to hold upon. I don't need a specific alphabet. Nirakar. Choice is yours, depending upon your ability. You take the object, the dheya, and put all your vrittis into it. That means keep continuously thinking about it. Now what has happened? The scattered vrittis have come to one place. Bringing anything to one place, bringing the mind, its energies, its vrittis, its thoughts to one place is called as Desha Bandha. Whenever there is a Desha Bandha by the Chitta, Chitta means mind. When the Chitta holds on to one area, it is called Dharana. What should I be taking as an object for dharana? Look, whatever you like. But sir, I like normally in my day-to-day thing, I have been always contemplating of a beautiful mango or a beautiful delicacy of food or a Ferrari. Why can't I take Ferrari as my object of meditation? If you take an object of meditation of such a kind where you have your likes or dislikes, what will happen? Your mind will start moving further with that object into some other thing. If your object, for example, who would not, except the saintly people, who would not like a beautiful woman coming into the mind screen? Everybody would. Why don't we take that as an object of meditation? If I take that object of meditation, then there will be flights of fantasy happening in the mind. Then that lady will not remain a lady. I will go far beyond into something else. What happened then? Then the condition of the Patanjali Maharaj is broken. He says, doesn't matter, even the lady is fine, but all the bhakti should be only on the lady, not further contemplation. You're going on the utility part. You're going into the futuristic projection from that object. The object remained there only. Oh, that means, think logically. That means we should take an object where I don't have much likes or dislikes. Now, let us take the example. I take a murti of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Now, first of all, I have neither liking or disliking for Bhagavan Sri Krishna. All right. Sri Krishna Maharaj ki jai, that we all do. But frankly speaking, ask a question to yourself. Do you really like Bhagavan Sri Krishna in that murti form as much as you like your wife or a lady or a son or anything? No. Yeah, we say Bhagavan Narayana's murti was so nice. I felt so good. For how much time, sir? Split second and you forget about it. Why? There is no liking for Bhagavan's murti. And what about dislike? No, there is no dislike also. Why? Because we at the heart are convinced that it is a murti, stone. All right. So if I take an object of such type, suppose I take an object of meditation as alphabet A. Yeah, it's a very good object of meditation. Why? I don't have likes or dislikes about that object. That means either I should have a like for the object of meditation of the type where it does not take me to the fantasy but to ideation. Not bhoktruttvata coming out of it, but vairagyata coming out of it. Gurudeva's photograph I want to concentrate upon. That is my dheya now. Doesn't matter. Very good. What will happen? Because of our liking, I will go towards the ideation of ideal traits. Then it is allowed. Yes. Or else, take something where you don't have likings or dislikings. The whole idea is you have to constantly think about that object and object only. condition of Patanjali Maharaj is bring back all the vrittis from different objects of the world and invest them into one object. Then what will happen? You take the object, you think about the object. Now I started thinking about the object. Bhagavan Shri Ram is an object in my mind screen. Now I'm looking at Bhagavan. I look at his Padakamala. I look at the Vastram that Bhagavan Shri Ram is having. I look at the countenance, the smile, the radiance. With these thoughts, I'm trying to think only of Bhagavan Ram. When I'm thinking of Bhagavan Ram in this manner, for that split second, all other thoughts and objects of the world are not existing for me. As I was concentrating on the Padakamala of Bhagavan Shri Ram, I remembered that in the office today I have to attend to an urgent thing. What happened? The vritti which was going towards Bhagavan Shri Ram slipped and went to office. This is called vyuthana. Vyuthana, to go away. Ekagra, to bring it back. Integration, disintegration. Now let us say for 1 hour I am meditating, a very big time. Let us take 1 minute because 1 hour is a very great achievement. 1 minute of meditation. For 1 minute, 60 seconds, my vrittis in my mind, my thoughts, my activity of mind is only on Bhagavan Shri Ram. I am not remembering anything other than Bhagavan Shri Ram in the Murti form. Doesn't matter. That means there is a ekatanata. There is only one thought, only one vritti going towards Bhagavan Shri Ram. When this is happening, I am becoming expert in dharana. For 1 minute, for 60 seconds, I did dharana on Bhagavan Shri Ram Murti. Now, while concentrating on Bhagavan Shri Ram Murti, I got terribly attracted by his lochana, Kamala lochana, lotus eyes of Bhagavan Shri Ram. Now I am focusing there. Only on the eyes. What has happened? In the Murti, I have gone to a specific point called eye. What is an eye? Eye is a combination of eyelashes, eyelids, a scleral ball, pupil, etc. No, but eye is a totality of all these components, giving me a feeling of compositeness, bhuta sanghata of all these parts, and giving me a feeling. When we say how beautiful the eyes are, we are not talking about the sclera and the eyelash. All the effect of all together is a bhava called netra or lochana or eyes. Now I'm focusing on that. So what happened? I focused my vritti not on the part of the Bhagavan Shri Ram, but by taking one organ called eyes and the feeling of that eye as if it is comparable to lotus, which in turn gives a beautiful and a high regard feeling. So in that bhava, in that feeling, in that emotional reaction, in that samskara, only I'm investing my attention or the vritti. So this is called vritti of the same type. What is happening in the mind? There is a vritti that has arisen, thought that has arisen of Bhagavan Shri Ram's eye. Next moment, Bhagavan Shri Ram's eye. Next moment, Bhagavan Shri Ram's eye. And eye means what? Eye means the feeling I'm getting of the beauty of that lochan. Only the soundarya of the lochan is what I'm focusing. Coming back, again focusing. So what is happening? Pratyaya ekatanata. The total content of the mind is only the eyes of Sri Rama giving a particular feeling, not the constituent of the eye, but the feeling about the eye. This is pratyeka tanata. This is pratyeka tanata dhyanam. Now dharana got converted into dhyanam. In dharana, whole Bhagavan Ram is there. I know there are different parts into the body. I know the whole part is called as Bhagavana Sri Rama Murti. I know that I am trying to focus on into it. And I know that it is suddenly slipping away into the office. Dharana is going on. I am bringing all my vrittis in a particular desha bandhana. In that murti, dharana. In the murti, now I started focusing on a specific thing with which I went into the feeling arising out of that specific thing. Then that feeling itself remained the alambana, the thing to hold upon. I'm constantly holding. That means I am into one finer vritti I'm holding for a little longer period. That is Pratyekatanata, Ekatanata, uniformity of the content of the mind, uniformity of the vritti, repetition of the same vritti. This is called as a dhyanam. It is like there is something flowing from me to the eyes of Rama, coming back again, flowing there. So there's only two things available in this world at that moment for me. My mind in the form of concentrating mind, concentrating upon the feeling arising out of the eyes of the Bhagavana Sri Rama, and remaining in that vibratory state, going, coming back between me and the feeling of the eye. That is a dhyanam. Taila dharavat pratyaya pravaha. Akhand. There is no breakage. Breakage, if it happens, again you have gone to dharana. So much breakage happened that it is not staying at one place. Our daily life. Mind wells. Satsanga, pravachana is an attempt of concentration. Isn't it? When we sit for satsanga, we are trying to focus on that particular subject that is being discussed. And then we are trying to understand. So it is your mind reacting to the words that are said about the scripture, and you're trying to make. So what is happening? You're already coming towards what is called as dharana. Satsangatve nissangatvam. What it means is every and any practice which gives you a practice of concentration, irrespective of the modality of the object or the modality of the situation. We see it in our daily life also sometimes. A beautiful stream of water going down in a pristine purity. Why does it give us pleasure? For a split second, we focus on that water with intense concentration. And mind well, when vrittis are condensed into a storehouse and applied on a particular object, this is nothing else but sattva guna in ascendancy. Sattva guna is prakasha and ananda and shanti. Why go far? A beautiful lady walking on the street gives you happiness, not because the lady is the source of happiness. Your mind is the source of happiness, because for that split second you focus on her. Ekatanata is there. That split ekatanata gives you a feeling of happiness. There is a small child on a mother's lap. We look at the child and we laugh. Such a beautiful child. You feel happy. Sir, the child has not made you happy. Your mind has made you happy through the child, simply because of your intense liking for the child, your mind was able to concentrate. Only thing is, it is for the very small period. If you are able to concentrate for a longer period on the child, you will be getting into dhyana of child. But the inherent samskaras of the mind is again going from one object to another object. Vikshepa of chitta is a very difficult thing to control. Dharana is the first step to stop that vikshepa and give it back here. The whole process of bringing back the vrittis and focusing on a particular object is an act of sattva guna. Then if I don't have sattva guna and I want to meditate, impossible. See, let us try to understand why we get cheated, why we feel we are nowhere in our progress is because we are cheating ourselves. Every day I'm taking bath in a dirty water and I am saying that I want to be a clean man. How can that happen? You have to stop taking the bath in the dirty gutter water. How can I do that? You have to stop your tamas and rajas, then only the sattva guna will come. No? Sattva doesn't remain present if rajoguna is an ascendancy. Oh, there's so much of work, my wife, my family, my investment, my money, my rajoguna is in full blast. Rajoguna is going on. And then you say that, I have to go to the satsang, and this, I also try 5 minutes meditation early in the morning. Sir, what are you doing? What a waste of effort. What a travesty. You're cheating yourself. No, organize things first. Organize yourself. In my life, tamoguna cannot exist. Rajoguna to the extent required. Now what will happen? If tamoguna takes 10%, rajoguna takes 20%, remaining 70% has to be sattvaguna. How do I then reduce my rajoguna and increase my swara? All that is Manisha Panchakam. Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Why nityam adhiyatam? Why? What is the point? Every day read Vedas. What is the point? This is the point, sir. By reading, Ishwarji says, every morning, Gurudeva said before the breakfast, why? Nityam adhiyatam, because this is the way you will increase your sattva guna. So every activity, first thing first. I am dirty, first thing first. I have to clean myself first. No, but I want to wear a beautiful silk shirt. Sir, you are dirty first, you take bath. First, remove tamoguna, rajoguna. Automatically, the silk shirt will suit you. It will give you pleasure. Similarly, tamoguna, wash out. Keep rajoguna to the minimum. Then these things would happen. How do I clean tamoguna? First, find out. Yes, I feel very jealous about, I never had a good deal. I had a raw deal in my life, sir. You are already basking in tamoguna and you're thinking of meditation. Throw it away. My problem is I am angry. Throw it away, tamoguna. I fight with my wife, my family, there's so much fight, and my wife, I wish I could have got a better wife. Sir, tamoguna. You are flushed with tamoguna. Just get rid of that first. Keep your vritti as much sattvic as possible. Then what much Patanjali Maharaj saying would it be possible? So pratyeka tanata dhyanam. Vrittis are coming from outside, getting focused on the object of meditation, and in that object of meditation, me and my meditative object, me and my Rama, nobody else in the world. There is a continuous exchange of my vrittis with him. A vritti of reverence is coming from the mind, going towards Rama, coming back from Rama to my mind, again going back to Rama, pratyeka tanata. But what happens is, when I am doing this, I immediately remember how Rama killed Ravana. The murtis of Rama in front of me. But now I am thinking of Rama killed Ravana and Lakshmana. I don't know whether Lakshmana was given injustice because, his wife remained behind. Sir, again Vyuthana. See, the object of meditation itself can cause Vyuthana because of Guna Dharma. There is an association of ideas with that object. Even those association means multiplicity of ideas. Then what is the difference between multiplicity of ideas in objects and in the Dheya Murti? There is a difference. When you are trying to think about multiple objects in the world, which we are doing on a day-to-day life, the mind is flitting from diverse objects. Morning breakfast, afternoon office, then this man, then that man, then medical, then money, then investment. It is in the whole screen is far wider where it is flitting. In case of the Murti Dhanam, now you are moving around the guna of different gunas of Murti. So what has happened? It is restricted to multiple things of one thing. Earlier, multiple things of multiple things. So bringing from multiple things of multiple things about multiple objects to multiple things about one object is dharana, deshabandha. Then taking one of it and focusing on it in a continuous basis, you are coming towards dhyanam, pratyekatanata. And when I am focusing so much on the lochana of Rama to an extent that now I have sometimes only the lochana in front of me. So much so that Rama's beautiful lochana giving me that eyes, giving me such a nice feeling that I forgot that I was looking at that. I forgot. Means my own presence is slowly getting dissolved. Only Rama's eyes are remaining. The feeling arising out of that is only remaining. That is the state when me as a dhyata becomes a diminutive part and Rama's netra becomes prominent part. Swarupa shunyam iva. I am becoming small and small. Rama's netra is occupying my mind more and more. This is samadhi. Tad eva artha matra nirbhasa. Artha, Rama's murti, nirbhasa, enlighten. The only light of Rama's and Lochan is filling my mind and almost making me dead. I am no more existing. What is existing in my mind is also Rama. So only object is existing in my mind. Me as a subject, I am no more remembering myself. Subject, when it forgets itself, in Patanjali Maharaj's language, it is called subject becoming an object. Swarupa shunyam iva is dissolution of subject. Arthamatra nirbhasa, object taking the center stage. So the mind is filled only with the object. मेरा मुझ में कछु नहीं, जो कुछ है तेरा. Kabir Maharaj said it not as a joke, as a yogi he said it. मेरा मुझ में कछु नहीं. I am not a subject anymore. जो कछु है तेरा, you are the object. You are the one who has flooded me. When somebody practices dharana, dhyana and samadhi, starting with dharana, then with dhyanam and reaching the samadhi, in other words, starting with retracting the vrittis and bringing it to Ramamurti, then in Ramamurti taking a specific guna and specific aspect and focusing on it in a continuous manner is called dhanam. And so much focusing on it that you forget your own self is called samadhi. When dharana, dhyana, samadhi, these are progressively dynamic states. So take an object, start with dharana, dhyana, reach samadhi. Take another object, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Once you continuously do it, these three together are called sanyama. Sanyama. Now, what happens when you do Sanyama? When you do Sanyama, Buddhi stops functioning in the normal manner, and instead of Buddhi, a new dawn appears, a new sun of knowledge appears. That is called Pradnya. That is called Pradnya Loka. Loka because it is an experience. Again, mind well, gunas are still there. So it is an experience, but experience of a different type than our experience. That experience is called Pradnya Loka. Pradnya Loka, experience of the Pradnya, experience of higher intelligence, higher consciousness. From the lower consciousness, you enter into higher consciousness. How do you enter? By doing Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. But it doesn't last. Yes, because Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Samadhi, Dhyana, Dharana, outside. Going up, coming down. Skhalana, Arohana. Skhalana, Arohana, Skhalana. This is continuously happening. Then what do? You keep abhyasa. And once you keep doing it, the practice, the dhyanam, when done again and again, then 1 second dhyana, 10-second dhyana, 1 minute dhyana, 1 hour dhyana, couple of hours dhyana, masa, months, varsha, tapo, 12 years, maybe hundreds of years. We have mentioned in Puranas. There is Arthavad in Puranas, but there is a grain of truth there. You keep yourself in that state for a longer period. Longer the period, stronger the Sanyama, higher the experience of Pradnya Loka. Then every time you do Sanyama, a new thing develops in you. What is a new thing? A new knowledge comes into you. A new experience comes. It is different than the day-to-day experience. Our day-to-day experience is very clear. This is blue, this is red, this is wife, this is child. This is our daily experience. Something different than this at a higher level. Then again you keep doing Sanyama. As you keep doing Sanyama, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi on anything for a longer or a prolonged period, then what happens? Higher and higher levels you achieve. It is like a house with many doors and many rooms. Moment you do Sanyama, the first room is opened. It's a new room. It's a new level of experience. Again, you go through the another one. Again, you go through another one. It's like a plane that takes off. You see only the clouds. Then you go above the clouds. Something different you see. All the clouds now are seen down below and there is only light. This is our experience while taking a flight. What happened? Why this? This was never seen earlier. Why? I was below the cloud. Vyavaharika Vishwa. Now I have gone to the higher level of consciousness. This is called Bhumi. Every new aspect is called Bhumi. So you keep going from one pratala, one Bhumi, one level to the higher level. Tasya Bhumishu Viniyogaha. Keep on investing Viniyoga in this, each of them. So keep investing at a particular level, you will go to the next level. Keep investing on that, you will go to the further level. Tasya Bhumishu Viniyogaha. And that means there are 3 parinamas that you always get into this particular ascent. One is called Nirodha Parinama. Second is called Samadhi Parinama. And third is called Ekagrata Parinama. Now, these words may sound little jumbling, but they're not very difficult to understand. What is Nirodha Parinama? Every time you try to concentrate, mind goes back to the another thing, not the object of concentration. So this is called Vyuthana Samskara. We have seen that. So whenever there is a tendency to go to another object, when you are focusing on one object, what do? You bring back that particular vritti again onto the object. So you try to again focus on that. Again, the focus goes away. Again, you try to focus. When you try to bring it back, it is called nirodha. Bringing back the vritti from vyuthana avastha to ekagrata, to that object, is called a nirodha parinam. And nirodha parinam starts from beginning. Even in dharana also there is a nirodha parinam. Because first what you try to do, you try to restrain your thoughts on one object. After that, once you master it, you don't have to restrain, you suppress. There is a boy there is a mosquito which is constantly coming and doing some near your ears. What you do? You do this. What you are doing? You are doing restrain. You're just trying to move it away. But suppose you kill the mosquito, now it will no more bother. Suppression. Same thing with this vyuthana samskara. Whenever it tries to go outside, you bring it inside, and as you keep practicing it more and more, the power of going out becomes less and you can kill it. Suppression. So that is why nirodha parinama is more and more bringing the vritti on the object of concentration rather than letting it go outside. So nirodha parinam starts in a very small form in the beginning of meditation, but later on, when it really takes a good shape, it comes as a last stage. It becomes only nirodha. There is no going out. Only nirodha means it is going only in one direction. That is called yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is nothing but bringing the vritti of the chitta to niruddha avastha. Niruddha avastha means total absence of vyuthana avastha, total absence of going anywhere else but only at one place. This is called nirodha parinam. There is also a samadhi parinam and there is also an ekagrata parinam. We are deliberately trying to see these concepts with more and more clarity because this part of Patanjali Yoga Sutra of Vibhuti-pada is slightly critical for the understanding of the entire process of yoga. If this is correctly understood, then we are going to see that these three parinamas that we see, the nirodha parinama, the samadhi parinama, and the ekagrata parinama of the mind, if it is studied properly and if the meditation is done properly, then what happens? The mind comes under the control. So a yogi tells the mind that, look, there is a bird sitting there on the tree and there is an eye for that bird. Do sayama on that bird. And the mind listens. And then there is a samadhi on that. That is a full concentration of any object to the fullest is done by them. Now what happens is, what you do for the control of your mind, same thing is there for the control of the universe. One who can control his mind, he learns the secret of the control. Now, right now he's controlling his mind. Tomorrow he will control anything in the Prakriti. Why? Because mind is made up of Prakriti and rest of everything is also made up of Prakriti. Mind is also from Pancha Mahabhuta. The outside is also from Pancha Mahabhuta. So if I control my mind, I control Pancha Mahabhuta outside. And that is called Siddhi. If I'm able to do Sanyama, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi on my mind, I can do it on any object. So if this is a handkerchief, what I know about handkerchief is this is made up of cotton and this is it is woven and all. This is external thing. This is consciousness. I don't know. I will never see consciousness in an handkerchief because I'm so convinced about it. But for a yogi, he will focus on it. Sanyama. Once the Sanyama is done, This is no more an handkerchief. This is consciousness taking some shape, taking some cotton shape, taking some squarish shape, etc. And this is not an hypothetical thing, sir. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was able to do Sanyama so easily that he was more used to Sanyama than distraction and Vyuthana. And that is the reason why when all the friends of his mother came to console his mother that, your boy is a mad boy, he could see all the ladies and he kept wondering how all of them are Devis. They're all Kali Mata. He has written in his biography that I see people as something made from wax. Same wax is casted into different things. How? Sanyama of a great extent. Ramakrishna Maharaj's Paramahamsa's disciple Shivananda Maharaj used to do Sanyama so easily that it was difficult for him to even eat the food. So what he used to do, he used to put lot of things scattered on his bed. Lot of things scattered on his bed, the pen, the paper, the clothes, everything. And somebody asked him, why are you doing this, Maharaj? You're supposed to be very tidy. He says, no. When I keep doing this work, again putting it back, at least it brings me back onto the ground. Otherwise, I'm constantly absorbed in the Brahman. That is the status of Jivan Mukta. So much they are absorbed in the Brahma Bhava that it is our great fortune that Gurudeva spoke after this. Imagine if he would have remained absorbed in the Samadhi, who would have taught us? That is why the greatest obligation the saintly people, Jivan Muktas, that have done to us is they spoke. They had Vaikhari. Jnaneshwar Maharaj wrote Jnaneshwari and then took Sanjivana Samadhi. Imagine what was stopping him from doing it earlier. Then what we would have read, which book, which scripture, who would tell us what is what, because that level thing only they know. For poor people like us, spiritually poor, if we have to become rich, we have only those books with us. That is what is exactly the background. That is why we will be seeing these three parinamas and their relationship with Prakriti in the next session. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji.
Hari Om.
Just waiting if you have any questions.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji.
Hari.
Very informative session, and today is an auspicious day. It is very, very perceptible also. Now, Sanjay ji, you have mentioned about this, whatever we have, whatever perceptible by the Indriyas are visible to us, correct? So there are powers beyond our perception, which we have to align with, or what we have to able to. That is called Siddhi over. Now, whatever we are seeing, often we see dreams and all, which is very impossible. Is it part of the perception of our Indriyas or beyond that?
The dreams that we see, where the impossibilities gather, is nothing else but out of the samskaras and the ideations that we keep in the mind. If in the dream you are flying, remember and mind well that you know what is flying. Otherwise, you will not have a dream of flying. So the impossible things which you think impossible in the dream are already something about which you have already thought. Unless there is a sanskar of either the object or the idea, you cannot dream it. That is pratibhasika satta. Pratibhasika means it may come in a weird combination. Normally, the frog is not supposed to fly, but you know flying and you know frog, so you can combine them. That means there is a prior knowledge of both the activities. It gets weirdly combined into the dream state. So it is nothing else but the interplay of the samskaras that you had because of your association with this world, presented in a weird manner. Manner is weird. Contents are same, given in a different things. Ravana had 10 heads, Dashanana. So that gives you an idea that you can even imagine a Panchadashanana, 15 heads, because you extrapolated from one idea. But you already had an idea that there can be more than one head. Now the question is, whole thing is limited to your samskaras. Mind well, your samskaras are because of this universe. But we will be surprised that this universe is a very small thing. There are multiverses. Even the science is agreeing now. We used to call it as Ananta Koti Brahmanda. Ananta Koti Brahmanda. This is one. It has its own Pradaya, its own Udaya. There are multiple 10 millions of such Brahmandas. They keep coming, they keep dissolving. There the things are different. You know 5 Indriyas. We have never even thought about the 6th or the 7th Indriya. Who knows 7th is there or not? You have eyes to see because you have an Indriya called eyes to see. There would be some universes where you see but you don't have eyes. Who knows? Why? Because our thing is Santa, limited by our intellect. So dream state, Pratibhasik Satta is nothing else but Jagrut Avastha Samskara into weird combination form. That is all. Except Deva Swapna, early morning, some dreams which the yogis get. That is because they go into higher levels, higher realms. Then that becomes the seed of their dreams. So sometimes the guidance comes from those levels. But they are very, very rare, and only some of the Punyavan, Punyatmas get those dreams as a guidance from Ishvara. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Very well explained, Sanjay ji. You hit the bullseye also, because I often see A380 piloting, without any experience. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji, Rajendran here.
Yes, please.
In the last class, we discussed the Vibhudipada 9th sloka, Vitthana Nirodha Samskarayo Bhivava, Pradurbhavo Nirodha Chittanvayo Nirodha Parinamaha. And the 10th one is Tasya Prashanta Vahida Samskara.
Yes.
Are you explaining under that?
What we did today is, we again tried to see the preparatory phase from Dharana onwards to understand these 3 parinamas. The sutra that you said, Tasya Prashanta Vahita, that means that state in which Abhibhava and Pradurbhava. Abhibhava and Pradurbhava. Abhibhava means Tirobhava, to go down. Pradurbhava, to go up or becoming more concentrated. So Vyuthana and Nirodha, they are always in fight with each other. Vyuthana going out, Nirodha bringing it back to the object of meditation. Vyuthana Nirodha. Sometimes the Nirodha is on ascendancy, you will be able to do meditation better. Vyuthana is in ascendancy, you will be disturbed, you will never be able to do it. So going out and bringing it back to the object of meditation. Vyuthana and Nirodha, Abhibhava Pradurbhava. What is the Abhibhava right now? Nirodha Abhibhava is there. That means Nirodha is going away. That means Vyuthana is in ascendancy. When this Abhibhava and Pradurbhava of Vyuthana Nirodha, it leads to what is called as a Nirodha Parinama. Slowly, slowly, you are able to bring back the mind on the object of the meditation. Mind means vritti, on the object of meditation. That means you have already started practicing Nirodha. But this Nirodha is in a very minuscule form. This keeps on growing in intensity and becomes full blast at the end of the Asampratnyat Samadhi. So Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha is a Nirodha in a full blast form. But Nirodha Parinama starts pretty early, right from Dharana itself, you practice this one. And how do you catch that Nirodha? Suppose there is a Rama Bhagwan Murti in front of me, mind will go, and then let us say there is another object called food. Now the mind is going towards food, coming back to Rama, again going towards food, again coming. Now what is happening? Vyuthana to food and Nirodha to Rama Murti. Now imagine, there could be a point of time when it is neither going to the food and nor going to the Rama. Isn't it? It's a very small point, but a point when it is neither there nor here. That is Nirodha. Nirodha means vritti-lessness. Vritti-lessness is first vritti asta, second vritti udaya. Between the udayasta, there is a point that is called point of Nirodha or meditation. This point is something which is slowly enlarged and extended by the yogi by repetitive practice. This is how the whole thing moves. So Nirodha Parinam is this Parinam. Hari Om.
Hari Om.